Hey everyone, my name is Tristan and welcome to my small workshop in my basement. Today I'm going to show you how I made this prop knife out of foam and PVC. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. The first step into making a cosplay knife like this is to design it. Of course you can make it any size or shape that you want. Just make sure you think about the way you're going to build it before you design it. For my design, I'm using a PVC pipe for the handle and a popsicle stick to make the blade rigid. After designing your template, of course you have to cut it out. First, I decided how long I wanted my handle to be, and then I cut a PVC pipe the right length. Then I traced my blade on some 1/2" foam and then cut it out. This kind of foam has a textured side, so I'm gonna take it off using a Dremel. And then I'm gonna clean up the surface using some sandpaper. After that, I'm of course gonna cut off the blade using a sharp knife. After that, I'm gonna cut a slit down the back of the blade so that the popsicle fits in it. Here you can see that it fits perfectly. Then I'm gonna mark out the sharp part of the blade using a pen. And of course, cut out the bevels on each side using a really sharp knife. Then to clean it up, I'm gonna sand it. To make the blade smoother, I'm gonna use my heat gun to close up the pores of the foam. The next step is to embed the popsicle stick inside of the blade using some hot glue and then close it all off. And of course I'm gonna clean up the seam using some sandpaper. At this point, the blade is still pretty flimsy, so I'm gonna use some super glue to make the surface more rigid. It's super simple, I just applied hot glue all over the surface and then let it dry. And this is how it looks. Because the super glue dries really hard, I can use some more sandpaper and make the blade even smoother. And you can see that at this point it looks really sharp. And there's a closer look. Now it's time to make the entire handle. My plan is to wrap it with some foam to make it look like leather, so I'm gonna have to cut a long strip out of 1/4" foam. And then just glue it all around the PVC pipe with hot glue. and you can see that it gives it a pretty cool look. Of course, I had to cut off the excess. Then I wanted to add a small ridge on the top and bottom of the handle. So I cut out some small strips of 1mm foam and then cut them to size and glue them down. My seams were really messy, so I cleaned them up even more using some hot glue. After that, I cut out 2 circles out of the same 1mm foam to cap off both of the ends. I made a small hole in one of them for the base of the blade to slit into, and then I glued both of them on. Now it's time to attach the blade to the handle. So I'm just gonna fill my PVC pipe with hot glue and then slid down the blade into it. Now to fill all of the little holes and crevices, I'm using some quick seal. You can use your fingers to apply it and then smooth it down using some water. It takes about a day to completely dry. Like super glue, it dries really hard, so you can use some sandpaper to once again smooth it out. Before painting the knife, you have to seal it. Now you can do this in many different ways, but my favorite one is to use some wood glue. It's really cheap and you can mix it with water and then apply it all over the prop. The best is to put on 2 coats or more. Now it's time for the fun part, painting your knife. I'm using some red and brown acrylic paints to make a leather color. And I'm gonna apply 2 coats on the handle. Now for the blade part, I'm using some silver and black. And of course, you're gonna have to put 2 coats on. Then to draw out the sharp part of the blade, I'm gonna use a silver Sharpie. Now it's time for weathering. I'm gonna use some brown and black acrylic paints mixed with water to dirty up the prop. And of course you have to wipe most of it away to keep all the dirt in only the crevices. The final step is to do some dry brushing. For that I'm using silver and white. You just have to put a tiny bit of paint on your brush and then pass over all of the high spots. This is gonna make all of the details pop and give your knife a used look. And we are done! So this is the final result. I think it came out pretty good. Of course, if you're a beginner, this is a fun and easy project to start out. So this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you can go check out my other videos and of course subscribe to my channel. That would help me out a lot. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!